Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 5 and 6, Samwell and Arya. In these chapters, one of our characters is going to Old Town, but it's not the one that Harmit thought. You know, actually, it's like the exact opposite of what you thought, because Sam is going to Old Town, but he's going to Old Town via Bravos, and you thought that Arya was going to go to Bravos via Old Town.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Slay Sam.
Not Arya?
I mean...
She's already got to her destination, unlike Sam, who has barely gotten started.
Yeah, but the Sam one I'm more, like, excited... Well, I don't know. Slay both of them, I guess.
Okay, I see you giving away your feelings. Apparently, Bravos
What?
hater.
I am not a Bravos hater. I'm worried about Arya. That's what I am. So I can't be like, slay Arya when I'm worried about her.
Well, she's... Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast, everyone. What did you think of these chapters, Harmith? No, wait. Who died in these chapters, Harmith? Did anyone die? I mean, there were a bunch of people dying in the House of Black and White.
Yeah. I don't think anyone died, no. Wow. We've had a few without deaths. This is weird. Oh my god, I don't like this.
We had so much death in the last book that George R. R. Martin's like, let's give you a break.
Yeah. Little buffer zone.
Yeah, so I guess not really anyone died. So then what did you think of these chapters?
Okay, these were both so good.
Right?
For
Yeah.
no reason.
No,
I was like,
what do you mean
no.
for no reason?
Okay, I'm not okay, you always say this every time I say for no reason. For no reason doesn't mean that there wasn't a reason. It's just like when you're taken aback by something. Like I wasn't expecting these to, well, maybe I was. Actually, okay, I think I was expecting them to be good, but okay, it's just an expression. I'm not saying literally for no reason.
This is like you saying I'm dead, but you're actually alive.
Exactly.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll try to wrap my foot around that brain.
Okay,
No,
weirdo.
No, wait, I was trying to reference Michael Scott saying you gotta wrap the brain around the foot, but I said it backwards.
You didn't even do his version right, let alone the correct one, please.
Anyway.
Yeah, gotta wrap your foot around that, I guess. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, like, why were these so good? Like, this is chapter 5 and 6.
Let me tell you, they're just all good, okay? There's no bad chapters.
I know. As I was going through these ones, I was like, I literally don't understand what drugs people are on when they don't like this book. Like, I don't understand. Like, does it go downhill? Is that why? Because I'm really
Not in
struggling
my
to
opinion.
understand. I'm struggling to understand why people do not like this book, because so far almost every chapter has been a banger. And I can't say that about any of the other books we've read so far. Granted, we are only on chapter 6, so maybe I should just shut up. But
well, yeah.
I will say, I have not enjoyed prologue to 6 of any of the other books this much. I actually don't even know if I've enjoyed prologue to 6 of any of the other books. Like, a lot, or a significant amount. Because I remember for all of them just kind of being like...
There's a lot of recapping, yeah.
Like, I remember being like, hey, cool, but can we speed?
Get to the plot, yeah. Well, we haven't gotten much plot either, but it's like new things, new places, new people, you know?
We see new people every 2 days. I don't care if we keep exploring every town before we end up going somewhere. Let's go to all the other, like, little free cities and, like, go do stuff before we get back to, like, the war. Because, you know, it's also a nice little distraction from the drama. Because you're like, ooh, temples, ooh, you know? It's nice.
Sure.
Anyway, these were both bangers. I loved both of them. That is basically my take.
And I am glad to hear that. So, do you want to summarize these bangers?
Oh god, I'll do my best.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Sam's been in the, cellars, going through the books, trying to find information about the others, finally comes up. John's like, Kay, you didn't find anything. Kay, you're going to Old Town. You're going to take Gilly and Maester Aemon, and you're going to become a maester, and then you're going to come back, and I'm excited for you, and please do this. And Sam's scared because of his trauma with his dad, and then at the end of the chapter, they're finally on their way, and he's being brave, and it's great. I have more time.
Wait,
I don't know what to say with my more time.
Yeah, that's time now.
Okay.
So it wasn't like that much time. So
okay, I got confused. I was like, "You're not cutting me off." Okay, we're now getting to arriving in Bravos, kind of they go through these security measures. There's the Titan, and there's a bunch of traps and cool stuff going on, and then we go down this little lagoon, and then there's a bunch of islands and stuff, and then we go through a bunch of different septs and temples and things, and we meet some new people, the people on the ship, and basically we get to the end, and we're in the House of the Black and White, and it, how do I describe this quickly? Okay. I was like, I don't know how to describe these events quickly.
Well, you spent so much time saying we go through all the channels.
Because it was so cool. I was
it was
fixated.
Cool, but it's not the place to talk about in the summary.
I don't care, okay?
Alright, talking of cool, I just sent you, I sent you a picture, or an art rendering of the Titan of Bravos, which I thought was real cool, and it's pretty accurate to the book, except the ridges next to him I think are where he's standing there, that point that condensed, but in reality I think they're a little bit more spread out, where it's a gradual incline as opposed to such a sharp incline, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So slay.
And I think inspired by, is it the Column of Rhodes? Is that a thing?
I'm not sure.
Colossus of Rhodes. Which was, I think it was a real thing in ancient Greece, but is no longer it isn't a thing anymore. But it used to be this statue that was at the harbor of one of the cities.
That's cool.
And the Titan is inspired by this, but this guy, the Colossus of Rhodes, stood on just one side of the channel, whereas the Titan stands on both legs, one on each side of it,
Right, yeah.
Wow, I'm not good at explaining things, but people know what I'm talking about.
Yes. That's cool.
Yeah, I like historical references and all the different descriptions. So many highlights in Arya's chapter for me. Just so many highlights.
Honestly, me too. I just was what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? That was basically me the entire chapter. Because I don't know, for some reason, I think I just didn't think too hard about, what Bravos looked like. But I was pleasantly surprised, because I didn't really have expectations going into it. I was like, Cape City, whatever,
Yeah.
I wasn't, thinking too hard about it, but that's cool. I
I
guess, what could I have come up with? We didn't know any of this, I don't think, so.
No, I don't think we did. Maybe we heard that there was a Titan in Bravos, but,
that could have meant anything.
Yeah. Oh, you know why we knew there was a Titan in Bravos? Because Littlefinger's grandfather, who was Bravosi, his shield had the Titan on it.
Ooh. Damn, Littlefinger.
Okay, so, Samwell?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so Sam is, he's reading about the others. He's in, the little... Where is he again?
He's in the vaults under Castle
yes.
Black.
Yes, so he's digging through a lot of old books, and he's been here basically, all night, and, all of, the previous day or something.
Yeah.
And then he sees a mouse. And, okay,
yeah.
They have this little, there's a bunch of little, sequences here where, he's oh my god, like, I just kept reading, and, like, I didn't realize it was the night, or, like, I didn't realize, like, it was nearly dawn.
Yeah.
And it's
one
just so
more
good.
page, then I'll go up and rest and get a bite to eat. But there was always another page after that one, and another one after that, and another book waiting underneath the pile, which is, like,
so real.
so relatable.
It's so true. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, if you have the patience to get through these books, you definitely know what he's talking about. Like, because clearly you like to read, you know? And, like, it just was so good. And then even, like, this sentiment throughout the entire chapter, like, when he's trying to be like, oh, John, but, like, I have so many other books to read, I have to go back down there to, like, keep doing my research. Like, I totally felt this, where, like, you're like, it just feels incomplete if you don't get through the whole thing.
Yeah. He sees the mouse, which he's like, I should kill it because they're eating away at the books, and that's not good. But he can't bring himself to kill the mouse.
This is so
And the mouse, like, runs
sweet.
away anyway, so it's fine.
Oh my god, I love Sam. Because nobody else would have done this. Also because he loves books so much, so he understands, like, these books are so important, like, we can't have them getting wrecked by a mouse.
Yeah.
But just because he's Sam, he was like, okay, but still. So sweet.
Yeah, he's like, no, I can't squish it. It's gonna give me nightmares.
Homie.
Once there's this, like, one more quote about books. He's like, the way that you could sometimes fall right into them, as if each page was a hole into another world.
So slay.
Which is so true.
So slay, Sam.
And he's reading, like, old ledgers, and he's thinking, like,
he's
this.
that excited. He's like true bookworm. He's not reading like a little fantasies. Well, he's reading stories, but not like some stories, but it's not all like fun little.
Yeah, some of the stories, like, he's talking about this one guy whose, like, life is documented, but every chapter starts with him waking up and emptying his bowels or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's documented every day.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
like, I'm having a great time, even then.
Yeah, but, like, there's so much information here to wade through it all without the help of, like, the Control F feature is quite, you know, like, he needs to get the information he needs, but it can be buried anywhere. Or it could have just withered away because some of these books are so old that they're falling literally to pieces.
Oh my god.
Like, as he touches something, it just, like, falls apart.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that's the general thing. Oh, one of the interesting things he read is about Queen Alisan and King Jaehaerys visiting the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And he remembers, like, their dragons being here, and he's like, maybe there's a dragon egg around. Maybe is Stannis gonna find one here, or did he find one on Dragonstone? Like,
because he's hearing those rumors, so he's like thinking about it. He's like, okay, now how would that even be possible? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and remember that theory of the dragon in Winterfell?
Mm-hmm.
That also comes from, like, these people having visited the North.
Ooh.
And potentially having left an egg behind, but, like,
that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. So he finally gets up and out of the vault, and he runs into Dolorous Ed. And oh yeah, he's like, oh, I was told to bring you to the Lord Commander, and sounds like, oh, John wants to see me. As to that, I could not say. I never wanted to see half the things I've seen, and I've never seen half the things I wanted to see. I don't think wanting comes into it.
Please, he's so good. He's so difficult for no reason and yet every reason. Like, yes, be this way. I can't. So good. I love this character so much for no reason.
Yeah, so John's been speaking with Gilly, and sounds like, what does he want with her? Which, like, we'll talk about it in a little bit. But so he's going through, and he's talking to Gren and Pip.
Oh, also, there was just one thing, like, when he finally, like, comes up from, like, the downstairs, he's, like, looking around. We find out that John had everyone working, like, day and night to, like, get the
train.
Yeah, back up.
Yeah, like, even the people who didn't used to be, like you used to train physically or training to shoot arrows and stuff? Like Sam has to practice
No,
his crossbows
like,
and stuff?
No. Like the
What are you talking about?
building the
Oh, the
building
builders
the
are
building like
rebuilding things?
They're rebuilding like the stairs that had gotten burnt
Oh,
during
yes.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Right. That too.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Pip and Gren. They're practicing? Is that what they're doing?
Sure.
I don't remember. He just runs across them in the yard or something.
Yeah.
And they are... Okay, this is kind of an interesting conversation. So, they're not very happy with John, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Sam's like, oh, I gotta go see John, they're like, oh, do we know anyone named John? Oh, he means the Lord Commander. He's Lord Snow for real now.
Ooh.
Too cool for us. Too cool for school.
Oh my god.
And Sam tries to be like, he has work to do. He's busy.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Pip and Gren are like, well, we're the ones that made him Lord Commander, and he doesn't have time for to sip with us for a cup of mulled wine or anything.
Damn.
Which, we just left them. This is a quick,
Yeah.
John, what do you think of this? I don't know. I don't want to say too much myself. I want your thoughts.
Okay, as the John defender, I was like, are we just overreacting? Like, I don't know, this to me was just like a natural response. Like, even what we said earlier about or what I said earlier about how Sam coming up, he notes oh, they're working on the stairs to rebuild them. Even at that point there was a little critique about wow, Lord Mormont never worked us this hard. That's what people are saying. I feel like this is just the beginning of John, because we find out he's the youngest, or one of the very youngest slash the youngest very recently, right? Because we find out all the others were from before.
Yeah.
So, basically, he's unusually young. He already, doesn't think he's worthy, all that. I feel like it's just a natural response to, people are just gonna criticize. However, I do have a bias towards John. So maybe,
right.
And I also just feel come on, you're wow, he won't sit with us and talk with us. Okay, do you realize that we have, an entire realm to defend?
Yeah, but he's gotta eat, so why not eat with them?
I don't know, maybe he's busy.
Busy doing what when he's stuffing his face?
I don't know. Maybe he's quickly shoveling food down.
Yeah, something's going on here, because, we don't have John's POV here, but, do you remember when, was it Arya was remembering how Ned would conduct his, business, and how every day to dinner he would invite one of the, heads of service to dine with them so that he could get the reports and get the rapport building and all the things, And if that's the example that Ned set for John, that's not quite how he seems to be operating here.
Right.
So I don't the old bear, I don't know, nobody was he doesn't eat with us, but I also nobody was he's our best bud from back before,
Yeah, cuz
so I don't know where he's drawing his
because I don't remember
leadership style from.
Because we had a few scenes in the earlier books of them eating, and I don't know. Or maybe he would have just been at different tables. He's not going to be sitting with leadership, so we wouldn't be. Yeah, I don't know. You do bring up a good point. I don't know.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, maybe he's dining with Stannis or something. Maybe because I just figured right now in this moment there's so many fires to blow out, that okay, Stannis can't have reacted that well to the John being appointed, and there's Stannis, then there's Melisandre who has her own agenda. There's people from other because there's still people at other castles, right?
Right.
And then there's also people there's free folk to I just feel there's so much more than just hanging out with his friends. And at the end of the day Gren and Pip aren't exactly ambassadors for anything. So to me I don't know, like, I get, like, oh, we want to see our friend, but also, like, I don't know, I just feel like there's so many other things going on, like, if he isn't totally balancing this perfectly, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Because, like...
honestly, his job role sucks, because there's no work-life balance. You're just always at work. Yeah. So he can't be like, it's 5 o'clock, I'm gonna clock out and go hang out with my friends. They do mention that he's been out on the yard plenty. And, like, Sam remembers talking to John about it, and he's like, you gotta be as good as your sword, and my sword's real good, so I gotta, like, be worthy of it. Which is fine, but I don't know, if you got time to spend hours training, I feel like you have time to just say hi to your friends.
Yeah, but I don't think John's much of a socialite. I don't think that's the vibe we get from him, like, ever. He's much more of a quiet sulker, like...
Yeah.
I think he's probably also just, like, I don't know, he's probably just, like, going through it. And he probably also, like, you know, he does his whole thing of, like, isolating himself and being like, oh my god, you know? So I feel like it's probably also just, like, I need to, like
emo
teenager things of, like isolating himself, like, emotionally from people, you know? And he's obviously still, like, grieving, like
he's got COVID? What? I didn't hear about this.
No. And he's, like, obviously still grieving, like, the Ygritte stuff, and, like, he probably feels bad about the man's raider. Like, I just feel like there's a lot going on, and I don't blame him for not immediately, like, having a perfect, like, business partners for dinner rotation going on. Like, I really don't blame him for that. Watch me eat my words when this ends up being, like, he's, like, the king's blood, and he's doing, like, secret, like, rituals for Melisandre or something. Like, watch me eat my words when something like that happens. But until that happens, I feel like this is just him being really busy, and at the end of the day, he's like some, like, 16-year-old trying to have this perfect balance.
Maybe he just read a bad self-help book. He got Sam to look up, like, how to be a leader in the library, and it was written by somebody who was not a good leader.
Stop, that's so funny. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it is a transition time. I'm making too much of it, but it was, like, interesting to see that his, like, best buds are not super happy with him right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially in this position of power, he needs allies, like...
oh, totally.
And everybody else kind of hates his guts, so...
yeah, but... I don't think he's ever been the best at making friends. So there we go. Maybe someone will teach him.
And now he's
diplomacy.
Sent the best of his friends away. So
no, literally, yeah. He's making decisions. That's all I'll say. Okay, continuing.
Yeah. So Sam's like, I don't got time for this. Let me leave. So he goes to John's quarters, which he has taken up in the armory because you know, the Lord Commander's tower was burnt down, and Stannis has, like, claimed himself the king's tower, so John's just like, okay, I'll just hang out in this armory. Mm-hmm. And he runs into Gilly coming out, and it looks like she's been crying, and she looks sad and frightened. Ooh. And Sam's like, what's going on? And she's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And she just kind of, like, brushes past him. What do you think this was about?
I think this was probably just, like her finding out, like she has to go.
She's talking about the babies, and she's probably, like, developed an attachment with, like, the other kid she's been nursing.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah. Like, we talk about it later, too. Like, I feel like she kind of almost feels responsible for that, too, and, like, also, like, she's lived her entire life, like, at Craster's, and, like, now she's here, and it's, like, all these... man, and it's, like, just her and, like, Val, right? So it's, like, once again, I feel like there's a lot going on. So I would be crying every moment of every day, so I just chalked it up to that, so, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Sam, like, drops a few books, and we learned that he's been looking up a bunch of books for Maester Aemon, and it looks like it's stuff about the history of Targaryens and dragons and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting that Maester Aemon's interested in that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got to have gotten the rumors, right? Or have the rumors not... The rumors have gotten to Westeros. We've heard, right?
I think in small council meetings we've heard like, oh, a 3-headed dragon or something. I don't know if you've heard. Oh, well, of course, in Old Town, they get all the news because they are like a port city.
Yeah.
So they know a lot more. I don't know specifically if we heard anybody at the wall knowing about all the things.
Because Mr. Aemon is also really smart, so he might just be like, hey, winter's coming back, the cold is strengthening, like, how do we counteract? So maybe he's trying to, like... And also, like, the dragon glass and stuff, so maybe he's just, like, really perceptive.
Yeah. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But anyway, that's what he's looking into.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sam goes in to John's room, office, whatever, and he's hanging out with Mormont's Raven, the Raven that won him the election.
So true.
And the Raven's like looking over his shoulder, just reading along with John.
Yeah.
And yelling his usual corn. And what John's reading is this letter that Maester Aemon recommended or wrote out for him. And it basically is a thing to King's Landing saying, like, hey, we know Stannis is here and he's helping us out, but, like, we're not his people. We're just neutral. Remember that? And John calls it a paper shield, which I was, like, immediately flashback to when Ned had his paper shield, which Cersei just tore up.
What was...
He got Robert to sign his will.
Oh, yes.
And then he was like, look, I have a paper. And she was like, oh, look, no more.
Oh my god, right, yes. Wait, what's that word? Bureaucratic Ned. So good at everything he did, right?
Yeah, so they're talking about this, and, you know, he's like, they're not gonna believe this, and, like, whatever. Like, it sounds like a paper shield is better than none, so you may as well send it. Mm-hmm. So he does. But in the middle somewhere, John talks about how, like, he might have gone to, like, Winterfell, but all my family's dead. Bran's dead. And Sam's like, no, Bran's not dead in his head. But he doesn't actually say it.
Oh my gosh.
So now Sam's gone. So he won't say it.
Yeah.
Unless one of the Rangers runs into Bran, you know, on the other side of the wall.
That would be so nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me, we still don't know what happened to their uncle, so maybe, like, Uncle meets Bran.
Oh, Benjen, yeah. Did we talk about how there's a potential theory is that Cold Hands was Benjen?
I think we did. We must have, yeah.
Yeah. So... he might be
right.
Benjen.
He might just reveal himself and be like, hey.
Yeah. And he's talking about the kind of like deals he made with Stannis. So it looks like, I gave Stannis food, shelter, and the night fort, plus leave to settle some free folk in the gift. That's all. But I'm like, if you put that in a letter, that's going to sound like a lot.
Yeah.
Just like giving him castles and land.
Oh my god. I know, yes. But he's kind of trapped here too, because it's like he says, he's like, okay, but Stannis is like, okay, well, this is clearly not enough. This is like bare minimum. But then Sam points out, like, well, even with what you've given him, Tywin's gonna be like, that's too much. So, yeah. That's the thing. When there's multiple kings and you rely on the king's support, there's no winning. Yeah, and
okay, so in this conversation, John's like, hedging a little bit, like he doesn't quite want to send this letter because he's hoping that Stannis wins and he can take back the North and all this. And even Sam's like, he's trying to convince himself, but he can't. And it's learn
death and destruction I want to bring upon House Lannister, not scorn. I was like, go off.
Yes. We also learned that Stannis sent out like birds summoning all the Lords of the North to declare for him. And only one bird returned, which was from the Carhold. And everyone else, it says, elsewise the silence had been thunderous, which I like as a sentence.
Yeah.
So did Does it say if they sent back, like, yes, we declare for you, or?
I think so. Because right after it says Stannis has the
Stannis has the Karstarks. Okay, so let's recap what we know about the Karstarks.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me what you know so that I can...
Hate Lannisters. Their leader, or like the dude who was like the heir or whatever, was killed by Robb, right? Because
not the heir, who was the lead, like,
right, yeah. Sorry, I was using it synonymously. My bad. Like the dude, like the
Karstark in charge. His name was Rickard Karstark.
Maybe, yeah, whatever. They all die anyway. Like, it's fine. Yeah, Robb killed him because he
killed those Lannisters.
Yeah, because Catelyn let go of Jaime. God,
yes.
the tumultuous.
So the Karstarks were not on Team Stark. The last we heard from them. They also weren't like on Team Bolton or Lannisters.
Yeah, because that was literally the reason they weren't on Team Stark anymore.
Yeah. So since I guess there's no Starks according to them, it's cool that they line up with Stannis.
Yeah, I mean, this was my prediction too. Well, I actually don't know if my prediction is. Well, I don't know.
I don't know your prediction.
My prediction before was Stannis is going to use the Karstark claim as, like, hey, here's my legitimate heir from the north.
It's like a partial Stark. Yeah.
So, but, like, obviously, we don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen. All we know is, like, they're supporting as, like, a house that's supporting Stannis. And I think that makes perfect sense to me, because, like we just said, like, they can't, like, bite their tongue and go back to the Starks. Also, there's no Starks to go back to, in case you haven't noticed. And they're definitely not going to go to the people that they ruined, that they have such deep set hatred for, that they ruined their entire relationship with their king for. So, this to me makes total sense. Well, now with this new development of, like, people aren't really declaring for Stannis, they could also leverage this to try and get a better position in that way. Like, to kind of be like...
I mean, Stannis needs somebody to rule the North, and if this is, like, the first and only people to support him, then...
He's got to give somewhere, you know? So, I think, just with my prediction, and using logic, and with what has happened, it makes total sense that, like, that's where it would have gone.
Yeah.
But
so the conversation, like, switches to Gilly, and John's like, she was here to beg
just before we change, like, just last thing about this. So John is, like, obviously, like, you're not gonna, like, love the people who, like, killed your entire family, but still, like, John's very, like, he hasn't put this aside yet, you know? Like, his feelings about the Lannister, like...
I don't know, this wasn't that long ago, too. This was, like, a couple months.
Oh, yeah, like, I'm not blaming him, I'm just thinking about how it, like, affects him, like, politically, and, like, he's gonna, you know?
They can say that the Night's Watch is neutral, but it doesn't stop them from having feelings.
I know, but I'm
I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Like, I think I just hadn't, like, thought about it as deeply, like, how that's gonna affect him wanting to be on Stannis' side a little bit, too. Because I think before it was just, like, when Stannis offered it to him, I was like, oh, well, of course he's gonna want to be on Stannis' side. The position of power and, like, being able to do good things in the North. But now it's, like, not only would he want to support Stannis because of that, it's, like, the alternative is the Lannisters, who, like, killed everyone. So, I don't know, I guess I'm just, like, a little worried. I'm, like, careful of the slippery slope there, John. We don't wanna wreck, you know? Like, obviously, I don't like the Lannisters either.
Yeah.
But you don't wanna,
He's gotta remain neutral.
Yeah, but, like what I just said a couple minutes ago, I do agree that, like, it's hard to remain neutral when they're here and they're helping and they're, like, he's the king, so he's demanding all these things. So I get it, but I'm just saying be cautious is my note.
Good note.
Yeah.
So, just, like, the conversations, which is to Gilly, like, having left it, kind of, like, basically crying. And John says that she was sent by Val to plead for Mance's life. And so then they're talking about Mance Raider and how the rumors are that Melisandre's going to burn him real soon. And Pip says this, and John's like, Pip should learn to hold his tongue, which so oh yeah, the important thing here is that he says, you know what, like, he's gotta die, but I kind of want to execute him myself because he's a deserter from the Night's Watch, and by that standard his life belongs to us. And also I don't think like John really wants to see anybody burn. Yeah. So, and then of course he's talking about like how
he has to die because he tried to like go against the realm, like he...
Yeah, but also King's blood. So
that's why he has to die?
Well, both.
Okay, I guess. I'm just trying to think, like... Yeah, okay,
he attacked the realm, so he has to die,
okay.
But he's gonna burn in this, like, ritualistic way because he's got King's blood,
okay.
Which John's like, he don't got King's blood, his blood is no more royal than mine own, and then
which
we're like,
funny.
ha 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 ha.
Oh, God. Really, John?
And of course the Raven's like, blood!
Of course.
So now John's like, okay, I'm sending Gilly away, her and the boy. And I am going to send Maester Aemon away. And you. And all of this. But there's a lot of talk of the books in between. Things we talked about, basically. And how, one of the interesting things, I guess, is how the Night's Watch had like this deal with the Children of the Forest that every year during the Age of Heroes that they would give obsidian daggers to the Night's Watch. And there's just basically some info about the others that we more or less knew, like cold, hate fire,
they can ride
don't
dead
like
animal,
dragons,
like carcasses.
Stone. Yeah.
There's giant ice spiders. Yeah, gotta burn them. It's bad. Like,
yeah. Oh, this thing I think is new. They're I found one of the old accounts saying that the others could be slain with a blade of dragon steel, and they're like, dragon steel, aka Valyrian steel.
Whoa!
So that's new to us.
Yeah.
But John's like, yeah, if only I could convince everybody to give us their Valyrian steel swords. They're not super valuable or anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and John's like, well, did you find out who they are, where they come from, what they want? And Sam has not found that yet, and he's like, give me more time. John's like, you don't have no time. You gotta go.
Okay.
The books can wait.
I wonder, like, okay, if they had... I just find it really hard to believe that they, anywhere in the accounts, even if we put all the information from the accounts together, would have all of that knowledge of, like, every single thing about the... Because I just feel like, if we had all of that knowledge, wouldn't we have, at one point, used it, and this wouldn't be a thing anymore? Or are the others this thing where it's like, it has to be recurring? Like, you can't,
like, it's cyclical. It seems cyclical at this point.
Okay, so it's like, all of this information could be available, but we're just not doing a good job of...
It's the same thing, like, the like, magic went away, so, like, you know, like, just kind of, like, all of these things are interrelated somehow, and how the seasons are extended, and just...
That makes sense. I guess
it's just not a very consistent cycle. Like, it's not a yearly thing or anything.
I guess, like, that totally makes sense. And I know, like, we've established that here. But I just, like, I guess I'm just, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just being, like, weirdly nitpicky. Like, I guess I'm just thinking, like, is there no way to... I guess it's magic. So with magic, you can't always, like, permanently get rid of the thing. But, like, I guess I'm just, like,
I don't know. Maybe
if others
the last
have been around for so long, have we never found a way to just get rid of them?
Well, it doesn't say... Yeah, there's nothing... Yeah, maybe, like, they reproduce. Like, we don't know. Like, maybe they reproduced faster than they could be killed the last time around, you know?
Because I guess, we also have, like, we have stuff that, like, we've been told... I guess you're right, it is, like, the cyclical thing, too, because, like, But then there's stuff like Children of the Forest. I keep coming back to them, but like they're one of the ones where like, oh, they've been dead for however long, and like they're not coming back, so they're unrelated to the winter. So I guess I'm just wondering, like, some of these things that we don't like, can we permanently get rid of them like we have gotten rid of other things that we don't even know? Like Children of the Forest, I'm sure they were like doing great, and like
I don't know if they were gotten rid of so much as like just slowly died out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering, can we not put a permanent solution on the others?
Well, that's what they're looking for.
I know, but I guess I'm just thinking, if there was a permanent one, wouldn't it have worked?
Well, maybe they haven't found it yet.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe they found temporary fixes.
Yeah. I understand the need to, like, I'm not saying, oh, well, there must not be a permanent one, so let's not look in the books anyway. I'm just, like, thinking out loud, like, oh, if it was in the books, you'd think that was information that they wouldn't let get buried, but also you'd think this information they wouldn't let get buried.
Okay, but, like, Age of Heroes, we're talking, the Night's Watch has been around for 8,000 years. That's, like, before ancient Egypt.
Yeah. I know,
we don't have a sense of that kind of timeline. I imagine, this is how I think of it, like, okay, you know, a few hundred years, even a couple thousand years, we're like, remember this shit, you know? Like, you gotta remember it, so you put it on the top shelf so that everybody can see it. Like, eventually, as things go along, the others become more of a myth and less of, like, a fact. So the person's like, well, why are all these fantasy stories on the top shelf? Let's, like, move them down a shelf. And then eventually they get moved to the corner where nobody ever looks, you know?
Yeah, I know, but it's just, like... I think,
and
like,
also,
when something is of this importance, you would just hope that there would be so many yellow sticky notes.
Yeah. Didn't Sam say most of the accounts are actually written later by maesters, like, from, like, after the Andals came and stuff? Like, it was a lot of oral history, and oral history can be quite hard to hold on to. So, like, knowledge can be lost. Yeah. And, like, what these maesters wrote down, like, maybe they didn't write it down properly. Like, maybe the maesters were like, well, I don't believe that's true, so I'm not going to write that part in, you know?
Right, yeah. No,
so,
that
like,
totally makes sense.
There's a lot of room for messing things up here. It's real unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the books they do have, and John's like, oh, they'll be here later. I'm like, will they? They're literally withering away.
Yeah.
Like, who other than you can read, dude?
Yeah. No, I think all of this just gives me a lot of anxiety. So then when I'm thinking about it, I just fall into these, like, loops in my head.
It. Yeah, Sam needs to go, like, to take care of Maester Aemon and, to get Gilly set up, and also, like, they do need, like, a full-fledged maester at the wall and everything like that.
Who's not 110.
Yeah, but what are we doing in the meantime?
No, I totally agree. That's my biggest complaint with this plan is, like, this is great, this is so slay, but I also need you to think about, like, I also need you to,
like Stannis has all these people, put them to work. Yes. Stannis is also invested in fighting the others. Like, get his people to be reading those books.
I 100% agree. I just, like, that's what I mean is, like, he's outlining this super, like, intense and, like, detailed plan, and I'm like, okay, but I also need you to, like, because with his whole attitude to, like, okay, so you haven't found anything yet? Okay, well, too late. We just gotta move on. Like, he's not a scholar, and I don't like it. I need him to just, like, understand the value in continuing to have people, like, search and explore and keep doing it, even if it's not Sam. Like, even if it's not, oh yeah, Sam loves to do this, and hopefully he can find something. Like, this isn't, like, busy work. This is, like, literally a necessity that I need you to keep doing. So, that was my biggest thing, where I was like, love this plan, but I need someone to be the Sam of this chapter.
Yeah. So, I don't know, there's...
Yeah, but in that... Yeah, I'm just thinking if there's anything else. Yeah, because I think just kind of what, not like maybe shocked me, was like, when they were talking about how, like the first men, like, didn't write these stories, like, that we're reading right now, right? Like, they were written much later by, like, all the maesters and stuff. And that includes, like, Brandon the Builder, like, Simeon Star Eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, these are stories that, like, we've also heard so many times throughout the series.
Yeah.
So it's, like, interesting to think, like what the original stories could have been, or how it actually could have gone down.
But also, Old Nan is continuing that oral tradition of history, and she might have more facts than all these books combined. Like,
yeah, right, because she's
that
getting...
human library here.
Oh my god, so true. Get
like,
her over
we
here.
don't even know if she's alive. Like, the last time,
yeah,
I don't even know what happened, but, like...
Yeah, right, because like, if her stories are being passed down by, like, her ancestors, or, like, her old Nan, or, like, whoever she's getting them from, like, I'm her old...
Okay,
old Nan's
Nan
old
is not, like, a title. Remember, I think we talked about this.
Wait, Nan...
It's, like...
Nan was,
I think
like,
it's a
name.
short name. It's, like, a nickname for, like, Anne or Anne
right,
or something like
but
that.
You know what I mean? Like, her version of Old Nan. It doesn't literally have to be someone named Old Nan. But, like, you know, like her grandma or something, you know? Like, that would be... Yeah, so that's also hopeful, because then maybe if we, like, cross-referenced what Bran and Arya and Sansa think of versus, like, what's written here, maybe they can school Sam after he reads these stories. They can be like, actually, this is how it went down. No, that's... Yeah, it was interesting to think of, because I was like, oh my god, like, these are all, like, stories that, like, we've heard so many times, so think about how many times the people in this story have heard so many times.
Yeah.
And this was where we also got that, like, just him and Sam's friendship is so cute. Like, Sam being like, hey, look, I found another, like, Lord Commander who was younger than you. See, you weren't the only one, even though it was, like, 200 years ago. It's fine, shut up. It's just, they're so sweet. I'm gonna miss them together.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows if they're ever gonna see each other again.
Yeah, Sam tries to be like, oh, I can't go. Aemon needs me. And John's like, well, Aemon's going with you. And Sam's real concerned because Maester Aemon's frail and the journeys be tough. And he has this... Okay, I don't think we've heard of this, or I couldn't remember any reference of it, at least in the prior books, of... He thought of the Arbor and the Arbor Queen, and he almost choked on his tongue. So he's got some trauma related to some boat in the Arbor.
There could be, but I thought that was just... Because I have this vague memory of, like, when he first got here, him being like, the journey here sucked, and I hated every part of it, and the boat, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought it was just a continuation of that.
Maybe that.
Because I remember him, like... Or maybe this is related to the part later about, like, his dad and stuff. Like, maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe one of the places he was locked was, like, the boat or whatever. But I also just figured, because I remember, like, him being like, yeah, like, the journey here sucked. Because, I don't know, okay, maybe I'm making this up, but this is how I remember it. Do you remember when John kept trying to escape and stuff?
Well, the one time, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, mentally, too, you know? He kept, like, trying to escape. I just remember during that whole thing, like, there was some sort of moment with him and Sam of, like Sam, like, somehow they were talking about, like, escape, or, like how John got here and how Sam got here, and I just remember Sam being like, yeah, like, I just remember him hating being on a ship and being on a boat.
Yeah.
So that could,
okay,
maybe that could also just be based off of the dad trauma stuff, but I remember that being a thing at the very, like, first book or something.
Right. So, Maester Aemon is frail, but he's more at risk here because Melisandre might want to cook him up for his king's blood, so he's gotta go.
True. Sam is so smart.
Joining them will be Darian of Eastwatch, who is a singer, and he's gonna do some recruiting for the Watch, and they're gonna take the Blackbird to Braavos and then figure out a way to get to Old Town. So that's the plan so far.
Oh my god!
And Sam's just like, oh yeah, this is where John's like, you gotta go to the Citadel and become a maester. And Sam's like, but I can't, my dad won't let me. And we get lots of trauma imagery and nobody likes it. But
lovely.
It's, I mean, just his dad tied it up for multiple days with a chain, being like, oh, you want to be a maester? Here, let me chain you up. Which also doesn't make much sense to me, because his dad wasn't real fond of Sam. So making him a maester is a real good way to get him. Yeah. He did send him to the Watch. So why is that any different than becoming a maester? Because, like, the Watch is known to be, like, for criminals and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's not better for your reputation.
I don't get his reasoning.
The only
this is for no reason at all. This is a real for no reason at all.
It's so true. I think the only thing I can think of is just, like, with the Watch, it's like, oh, well, like, my son sucked and, like, I had to send him to the wall because he was a criminal. But with Old Town, it's like, well, like, he sends his son there, so it, like, reflects on him. And it's like, wow, I'm making my son this, like, incapable, like, whatever his stereotypes are about maesters.
Yeah, or maybe it's like the Night's Watch fight, so it's like a manly thing, but like the maesters just, I don't know.
I don't know.
Or maybe like Old Town is just too close to home and he wanted him as far as possible.
Maybe. I think maybe because with him being a maester, like, okay, wait, I know you're like a maester for life, but can you like unclaim yourself?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Or like
I guess if you never become a maester,
or maybe
like,
he was
never
worried
actually
about like maybe, you know what? Because his hatred goes pretty deep, and he does seem like a very vile, evil person. With the Wall, I think it's that he can never come back. But with being a maester, he can like,
or at least training to be a maester. He can like if he never gets his chain, then he's not a maester and he's not stuck with it. But if he gets his chain, then he's a maester.
No, but I'm saying from his dad's perspective, if he were to become a maester, then he could come back to his castle and be his maester, or like somewhere else. Like he could still continue.
But
to
he doesn't have to employ his son.
But also he hates this guy. This guy is irrationally evil and vile. So to me it makes sense from his perspective that he's like, get him somewhere where I never have to see his face again, versus somewhere where he's gonna be out in the world being like, I'm the son of that guy, and then it reflects poorly on him, quote unquote.
Sure.
That's the only way I guess
like logic. His reasoning just wouldn't stand in a court of law.
Totally it wouldn't. I'm just trying to think how he would.
Yeah.
All
right. So bad dad. And John's like, you don't have a father anymore. You have brothers and you have orders. You made me the Lord Commander. Now you gotta obey. Cause like John's taken aback by this like refusal, because he's like, yeah, you love books, like this is the best job ever, and you're gonna be warm and like comfortable, like why wouldn't you want this?
Please.
You lied and schemed and plotted to make me Lord Commander. You will obey.
Oh, damn, John.
Yeah. And so there's this moment here where it's like he's like, John, I can't disobey my father. John, he had said, but John was gone. It was Lord Snow who faced him now. Gray eyes as hard as ice. And I remember this being a thing that I think Catelyn said once, like he had his lord's face or something like that.
To John?
Somebody said no, about Ned.
Oh, okay, right.
So, like a bit of reflection of Ned and John, I guess.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I should have clarified. I was like, Catelyn is not going to be calling him a lord.
I was like, wasn't she literally against that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, John orders Sam.
Sorry, when he was outlining the plan, when John was outlining the plan to Sam, I was like, oh my god, like, maybe he could have, like, a little interaction with, like, Arya or Jaqen, because there's no way that John hasn't told him about Arya, or at least, like, something about Arya. And I feel like it could have been enough to be like,
to identify somebody across seas, like,
hey, let me be hopeful, okay? Shh. You always say this, even when I'm right, so you're gonna shush.
So Sam would have met more of John's siblings more recently than John.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's holding on to
watch
two
him, like,
secrets.
be shipwrecked onto, like, the fingers or something and meet Sansa as well along the way.
Please. So true. No, because then it's like, because then it's like he's holding all of these things, like, because then it would be so fun to, from our perspective, see the crisis in Sam's head about, like, oh my god, I can't tell John any of this. It would be so insecure if I said, like, it would be such, I wouldn't be able to deliver it in, like, a secure way. So, because obviously Arya's not going to be like, don't tell him I'm alive, but, like, there would just be no safe way to tell him. So, it's just, I just really wanted that to happen, but now, I mean, I don't know, you know?
I mean, they are going to Old Town via Bravo, so it's
like,
possible.
It's possible, but now we just don't know, like...
It's just not probable.
Yeah, but a girl can dream, okay?
Alright.
A girl can dream.
John orders him to get his stuff packed, and they're gonna leave before first light. And he gives him another order to not call himself a craven. So that's that. And then, John's like, don't, like, say too many goodbyes. Like, we don't want people knowing what's going on. Cause,
just
like,
last thing. So while, so Maester Aemon is now gone, right? Like, with Sam.
Yeah.
And Sam ain't no Maester yet, at least for a few, like, several years, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
And John already shit-talked all the other maesters they have here. Not shit-talked, but, like, he's like, yeah, they ain't that good, you know? And so, and he also brings up, like, he's gonna ask the Citadel for more maesters, but I'm like, are they gonna give it to you? Especially now if they think that you're, like, being this, like, this, like, if they think you're taking sides.
But the Citadel is also supposed to not be, maybe they are, well, I don't know who they're, like, I think they're technically loyal to, like, King's Landing, but, like... But
also...
Like, what about when Renly ruled the Reach? Because Old Town is in the Reach. So I don't know what their political alignments are.
And also from what we saw when we were with, like, Doran and them, like, it almost seems like, I don't know, like, the presence would be so strong that they'd almost have to, like, it would be hard to be not on anyone's side politically, because if, like, if the surrounding town is like, go Renly, or, like, go stand, or, like, whatever it is, like, I feel like that would be really hard. But I'm thinking specifically, like, if the Lannisters now think that Jon is politically taking sides because of this whole Stannis stuff, then how does that bode for them?
I guess it first has to occur to Cersei or whoever's in charge to, like, make, like,
stop
arrangements for that.
Right.
Yeah, because,
okay,
like, Tywin's
gone. For no reason. I think the theme of this
like,
episode
we don't
is
know
creating
yet.
problems.
Like, it might be a concern, but we don't know, honestly.
Okay, I think I'm just creating problems.
Let's let him get there first and, like, put in the request.
I'm just worried about them not having a maester, okay? Like, sue me.
Yeah, like, they are in a precarious, like, they've got Clytus to tend the ravens, and I guess Jon can write his own letters, but, like, what about healing and shit?
Yeah, because now more than
I guess
ever,
they're relying on whoever Stannis has? I don't know.
Yeah, but once again, that's a little too much partnership deal going back and forth, like...
Or maybe the free folk that are, like... captive, no
one's gonna trust them, and also if they don't want to, I wouldn't blame them. They're literally being held in captivity, and, like, there's no way that they wouldn't be prejudiced against that. Like, there's no way, like, freaking, like, Gren would be like, yeah, dude, heal me, bro. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see once somebody... Oh, wait, Melisandre can patch people up, but also Stannis.
No, that's the one where I'm also like, let's not do that. I feel like she'd put like a mental tracking device in you or something. Well, honestly, the thing with Melisandre is you could probably let her heal you, because whatever she wanted to do, she could already do. So, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like when people are like, I don't want, like, okay, I do kind of agree with this. Like, when people are like, I don't want a chip in my brain, and I'm like, you're on your phone 24/7. Like, you basically have a chip in your brain, you know? And I get it. Yeah. I also don't want a chip in my brain, but I'm just making the comparison. Like, she can do whatever she wants to you, basically.
Yes. Okay. So, they're gonna go. And Sam... Oh, he goes to talk to Maester Aemon, and Maester Aemon's like, yeah, I didn't want to go either, but, or no, my dad didn't want me to go either. This is Maekar. also Egg's dad, just a reminder. But his grandfather was like, there's too many Targaryens. We gotta get rid of a few. So,
oh my god, so
like,
true.
little did he know that all of them would die,
So
and it would
true.
come down to little Egg. But
oh god, it's okay. We're lucky that it happened because now we have Mr. Aemon.
Yeah, and Sam's real worried about him. He's like, he's definitely gonna die at sea, and so is that like little baby.
Oh god,
like he's not as large and strong as Dallas boy. He's real weak. So
oh god,
2 beings to be concerned for.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with this thought, we move on to the next morning, where he's saddling the mare he had ridden from Hornhill. Which I'm like, wait. You still got the same horse you had? Like, maybe that wasn't so long ago, but...
I thought that was weird, too. I was like, really? How?
Yeah. And I guess you can take a horse on a boat, but, like, does this indicate that he took, like, the King's Road away? I don't know.
Weird
not
detail,
important.
I agree. Moving on.
Yeah. So, Maester Aemon's got a bunch of books he's packing that he's like, the Citadel might not have these. I guess... the Citadel is the place to bring books, because then they can, like, you know, create new copies and stuff. But I'm like, but we're gonna lose them.
I know. But I guess right now, I'm also a little worried, because Lord knows what's going on the Citadel, so I'm like, maybe we just keep what we have? I don't know. I honestly,
maybe they're gonna, like, hide some of this knowledge away.
Yeah, like, what is the better alternative? Time will tell. Like...
Yeah. Also, as Maester Aemon's, like, walking to his, like, cart, a gust of wind almost blows him away, which is, like,
that's so
real
sad.
Concerning. Yeah. This guy's going on a ship.
Yeah.
Like, the storms and shit happen. Like...
yeah, it's okay. Just positive thinking, right? That'll get us there.
Well, he's positively thinking about the inn on the island in the Honeywine, which we were at, the Quill and Tankard. He's like, I used to hang out there when I was a kid.
Oh, slay.
It'll be pleasant to sit there once again sipping cider.
Oh, I really hope he gets to. I mean...
yes. Like, he deserves a nice retirement, you know?
Yeah.
And don't they say how old he is? They literally, like, he's over 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason in my head, he's 110.
He's 102 years old.
Where does it say that?
Page 115 of my book.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything to me, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, that's old. Yeah. Oh, God.
Let the dude rest.
Literally.
Aww.
But
yeah, I just wish a nice retirement for him. Yeah. And, apparently Maester Aemon's, like, highlighted a passage in this book, the Jade Compendium, for him. Mm-hmm. From an adventurer who traveled to the east and visited all the lands of the Jade Sea. Ooh. So I'm like, mystery, I want to know what that's about.
Yeah. Knowledge is a weapon, John. Arm yourself well before you ride forth to battle. We love this little last nugget of wisdom before he heads out, you know? So sweet.
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, it's probably just like, make friends, don't have an ego, calm down, not that deep. Like,
I guess we'll find out. So,
and also, Gilly,
yeah,
crying.
So John's like, hey, Sam, keep that baby well fed and everything. Mm-hmm. And Gilly's like, yeah, you do the same thing. Find a nurse for that other boy, you stupid person.
Yeah.
And she's like, you have my word. He's like, you have my word. And he calls her my lady. And she's like, I'm not a lady. I'm a mother. Don't you forget that. She's real protective of these kids, which is... Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, and she's also like, don't name him until he's 2 years old.
Yeah, as per the Free Folk. I think that we knew about this.
You think I'm going to remember that?
Okay, yeah, they have a tradition because, like, I think it's one of those, like, who knows if they're even gonna live to be 2. Like, let's not get attached.
I thought this was cute. Oh, it's ill luck, because then they can, I did not take it that way, but that makes so much sense. Okay,
maybe I'm mistaken, but that's how I took it.
You're probably right. Oh god, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they climb into the cart, and then Sam gets on his horse, and he's like...
When she comes up, they note that her eyes were red from crying. So
Yeah.
so I guess, like, I mean, okay, to be fair, it's not like she got a, like, say in the matter, so it's probably, like, she's attached to the kids. It's not like they were like, hey, Gilly, what do you want to do? And, like, she's already relocated once.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I also just was, like, so sad. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Sam's getting on his horse, and he's also sad. He's like, oh, I hated it at once, but now I don't want to leave it. Which, did I say Castle Black in that sentence there somewhere?
I think so.
Okay, I don't know. Sometimes I forget the words.
I was reading it as you were saying it, so if you didn't, I filled in the blanks.
Yeah, he's sad about leaving Castle Black. That's what I was talking about. They're all sad. Yeah. Maester Aemon's kind of hopeful, but we're worried on behalf of him.
So true.
And yeah,
well,
they're like
farewell.
Sam and John. Yeah, they exchange little words, and John says this thing like, "Oh, when I saw Gilly, she was real afraid, and I guess it wasn't the wolf she should have been afraid of, was it?" Which, what do you mean exactly?
I thought this was just because then in context with the rest of the thing, I thought it was just because you know how before Sam kept being like, I can't go be a maester, I can't do it, and John was like, you're gonna be brave and you're gonna do it. I feel like this is kind of him finally acknowledging that, like, I know that, like, the real evil was your father, but you can still do it. Because, like, same thing for Gilly, because earlier in the comics...
Oh, right, she overcame her biggest hindrance, which was her father.
She almost, like in that moment, it's like, you know that that's your biggest problem, but you're still worrying about the wrong things almost. Where, like, she was, like, worried about, like, Ghost, but, like, the real problem was, like, her dad. But in this case, it's
and
like...
Sam's worried about being a maester,
and,
but,
like,
yeah.
Like, Sam's worried about, like, oh, well, I don't want to have the ship journey, or, like, I don't want to disappoint my dad. But it's, like, at the end of the day, like, the real obstacle was your dad, and, like, you got away, and, like, now if you have to face him, you can deal with it.
Right.
I just, that's what it was to me.
Interesting analysis.
It's like their journeys are almost, like, kind of parallel in that way, too. Like, traumatizing childhood, you finally get away, but then you can't settle down, you gotta keep going. So he's just like, keep calm and read on, is basically John's final advice to Sam.
Yeah. But his final words, so these last couple lines, John smiled a strange, sad smile. And pull up your hood. The snowflakes are melting in your hair. Do you remember this? I don't know if you know this, but I think John is remembering Rob, like saying goodbye to Rob, and the snowflakes were like melting in his hair, and he's like saying goodbye to another brother,
God, that's so sweet. I didn't remember. See, that's so sweet even without that. Oh, I love that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro, I hate this book. I can't. Man. Whatever. I'm writing that down because that's too precious. Oh my god, no. This was like such a... Because, when we had the scene where he was like, hey, Sam, this is what you're gonna do, and Sam was like, oh my god, I can't do that, and he was like really scared. I was worried they were gonna make that the goodbye. And I was like, oh my god, what do you mean? Like, they're probably never gonna see each other again, and you give me this? Like, get out, So this... Not that I don't want them to see each other again, but with how these books go, as far as goodbyes, this is a good one.
This is okay.
This is like, you know what I mean? Like, this is okay. This isn't like him and Catelyn still hating each other's guts the last time they saw each other. Like, this is like a good, like...
Who knows if John will still be commander if Sam ever makes it back,
Literally, like, who knows who's gonna die, and, like, Yeah, This was a really sweet ending.
Okay, so I guess we should do predictions. Who gonna die on this journey, or is anyone gonna die on this journey?
My brain wants to say just like everyone, but hopefully not.
Okay, do you want to give me names?
Wait, sorry, okay.
Or you can just say no one's gonna die and I'll take it and we'll move on.
Before we do that, on the last page, when he's saying bye to Dolorous Ed, Dolores, it's like, your boat's not like to sink, I don't think. Boats only sink when I'm aboard. I love Dolores Ed. He is so funny.
So Dolores, yes.
Everything he says is so good. Anyway, yes. This, like, last page was just kind of perfect. In terms of who's gonna die,
I mean, or, like, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna make it? Like, whatever.
Mr. Aemon might die. You know what I'm hoping for, though? Maybe, okay. You know what would be even more sad than Maester Aemon dying on the journey? You know? Okay. So Maester Aemon, you know, they get through the like, raging waters. They make it through. It's a tough, like, perilous journey. They finally get there. And then he's, like, having a little drink. And he just, like, it's like he dies calmly at the end of the journey when he's finally there.
If that wouldn't suck, that would be like a good peaceful ending.
Or that could be that, which is like the nice version of that, or we could have like the okay version of that, where like they finally make it, all of that, but by the time they make it, everything's in chaos and he has like a sacrificial death. Like something like he does something important right before he dies, like some sort of like the seed is what were the words? The seed is strong, like some sort of the seed is strong, like final words type thing, you know?
Okay.
So he
Alright.
Some sort of like epic battle thing. Yeah. Something like that.
Alright.
I think the kid will be fine.
Okay, and Gilly and Sam are gonna be fine?
Yeah. Knock on
and
all
that
the wood.
Person, the singer person that they're joining up with, who's gonna do all the recruiting?
Yeah, sure. He'll venture forth into the world telling the tale.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. Sure. Like, I don't really care
well,
about
we can
him.
write a song about Maester Aemon's life, you know?
So true. Okay, yeah.
Multiple songs about Maester Aemon's life.
Just one, actually.
A whole album.
Oh my god, we fit it into one 10-minute song. Done.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Are they gonna actually make it to Old Town?
Yes.
Any of them?
Yes. Please don't make me predict against that. Yes, they must. They absolutely must.
Okay, so they get to Old Town.
He's gonna be
will
Alarius.
Sam become a maester? Okay.
Yes, he will become a maester.
Is he gonna... I don't know.
I think he'll become a maester. I feel like he might not get back to the wall to be a maester.
Right. Is he gonna, like, be able to spread the word about the others or anything like that?
I think so, for sure. Yeah. Because Old Town is, like, I don't know, Old Town seems like the...
But remember, all the maesters, like, none of the archmaesters believe in that stuff.
Yeah, but we have, like, Marvin.
Okay.
You know?
So he's gonna go to the mage and just, like...
Spill all
Here's the scoop.
Yeah, basically. Like, I just feel like there's enough... Like, obviously, like, you know, academia is supposed to be, like, the place for, like, new ideas to, like, flourish and shit. And I know that, like...
Supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. And I know that it isn't always, but I still do think that there's, like, a good proportion of people who can be convinced. And I feel like this academic setting is probably more likely than if he was going to, like, King's Landing or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, maybe the Alaris John ship goals can become true, like...
Oh my god. Yeah. Like, I just...
You know?
That's true. He could make it happen.
Yeah, Sam can be the connection that we need.
So true. They'll write letters for several years and then finally, well...
Pen pals.
No, literally. Oh my god, it'll be like Mulan, where like he doesn't know that she's a girl, and then they end up getting together. The original Mulan, the better, obviously. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So he's gonna meet up with Marvin and Alaris and all the cool people. It'll be good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Does dragon steel mean Valerian steel?
I think so.
Like, can Valerian steel kill others?
Yes, for sure. Speaking of, I was wondering, sorry, just quick recap. Jon has one, Arya has one, Brienne has one, Tommen has one.
Arya does not have one.
Isn't Needle?
No.
What's Needle?
Just regular steel. Like, the importance is that Jon had it forged for her in Winterfell by Mikken and all that. Like,
okay,
it's not...
Cool. I don't know why in my head it was. I think just anytime we have a cool sword, my brain's like, obviously this is Valyrian steel.
There's that Valyrian steel dagger floating around that's just like always causing trouble.
That like Sam had and stuff, or
no.
The one that killed, or like the one that tried to kill Bran.
Sam's dad has a Valyrian steel sword that we know about. So Brienne has one. I don't know what happened to the one that Joffrey had. Like, it's there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
John has one. Cool. I'm sure other people have one.
That makes sense. Okay. Slay.
Okay. Maybe I should scroll through this chapter to think of questions.
Yeah, my only other thing is, like, Melisandre. Like, there's no way she doesn't know this is happening. There's no way she doesn't like the King's Blood thing. Like, I'm just, like, who's she gonna use? Like, is she gonna find out that Jon is? Like, I have all these worries now.
Is Mance gonna be burned?
No.
What about Mance's little baby?
I don't think so. Yeah. I'm just worried about
Is
Jon.
anybody gonna read those books ever? Are they gonna find anything from them?
Jon is like a C-. Jon is like a F student. I don't see him valuing it.
Okay. Wow, harsh words.
Like, you just love the man, but that's not his strong suit, valuing academia.
Alrighty then. Let's move on to Arya. So, we have got... She's on the boat. She's seeing, like, a star in the distance, except it's not a star, it's the fire burning in the Titan's eyes, and as they get closer, it becomes more clear.
Slay.
She herself is on the Titan's daughter. A lot of Titan something. And she's reflecting on her journey. Arya never seemed to find the place she set out to reach, which is no truer sentence has ever been said.
This chapter, that's the thing, as much as I loved this chapter, we're never gonna be rid of the Arya sad, are we?
Yeah, I don't need any friends so long as I have Needle.
Oh god, you poor girl. Man.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So she's like counting. Wait, what's the word?
Counting? Sorry?
Relaying. Like, what's the word that sounds like counting, but it's relaying info?
Oh, like she's giving an account?
Yes. Thank you. She's giving an account of her experience on the ship, and not a lot of people talk to her. Some of them shun her, but others give her a gift. And the ones who do give her a gift, like, make sure she knows their names. Because this, like, crazy kind of death cult thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's gained another name, Salty.
Oh my god.
Because she comes from the Salt Pains. How many names is she? At the end when they
it was
go
like the
through her
perfect,
names.
not the perfect ending, but it was such a full circle moment. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Another thing I love about George R. R. Martin is he finds clever ways to recap. It's not just like, to recap what happened in the last book. It's like cool integrations of like, it makes you think where you're like, wait, where did she get that again? It's good.
Yeah. It is good. So they can see the Titan of Braavos now, and she's heard stories about him and like how old Nan used to say that he's the giant who can come to life and defend Braavos if the enemies try to attack it. So that's cool.
Okay, I had a question. So we know that we've heard giants in many contexts in this story, right? Like we have like the northern giants.
Those are the only ones I know. What are you talking about?
Oh, I guess I'm overselling. But we have
like the mountain?
No, I wasn't thinking of that. I'm thinking of like, you know, in the north, like we have giants. And then we hear about like titans and stuff for Never Eat Sake for the east a lot. So I'm like, is there? I'm just wondering if there's any connection. Like if at any point it was like giants were together, or if it was like kind of just convergent, like those giants formed.
I don't know if Titan means giant though. Like in that same way.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think it does, but I'm just wondering, like, if there's any similarity
And this
there.
Titan statue is much bigger than any giant John met.
Yeah.
It is possible that giants existed on other parts, but, like, to our knowledge, the understanding is that, like the children of the forest, they were native to Westeros.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm always trying to draw connections between the, like...
No, it's possible.
Mythology.
Yeah, like I'm super curious. So when Westeros, like, goes into their 10-year-long winter, does the entire world freeze over?
Yeah.
Or is it just Westeros that experiences it?
Yeah. Totally.
Like, what about Marine? Like, do they, like, we have, like, you know, Daenerys has been in that area, and we haven't heard any tales of others or winter or anything like that.
All of theirs have just been, hey, our powers are getting stronger. Cool.
Yeah. But then, like, Melisandre, whose, like, whole thing is, like, got, like, R'hllor against the other, you know, darkness and cold and whatever, she's also from the east. So, like, that's an Eastern religion. Where do they get their mythology from, you know?
Totally.
Interesting questions.
The East just has so many, so it's also, like, it's just hard to know, like, is there an overwhelming belief? Is it just all these, like, little
maybe
factions
it's, like, parts
everywhere?
of the East that we haven't been to. Like, who knows what the hell goes on in a shop?
Literally.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's, like, Yi and other, like, things
so
that
many.
I don't know, other places that I don't even like remember the names of. Yeah, so who knows, like, and yeah, I guess we'll just ask George R. R. Martin on our next podcast when we interview him.
Stop. That's so funny. Of course, exactly, right? Please, people, if you make that happen, come on. I will literally give you whatever
He's not
you want.
interviewing with anyone right now. He's hyped because, like, he doesn't want to answer the when's the next book coming out question. Like,
what if we promise that we won't ask him? Then will he?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, all men must die. That's what the words mean.
Whoa.
You knew that, didn't you?
Yes, because we'd find out from
Daenerys
someone
knew
else.
that.
Okay, from Daenerys.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask you, who did we learn that from? Because I remembered, like, I knew it was one of the ones where we made a connection from somewhere else, but I couldn't remember who it was.
I kind of want to spoil you on something, because,
what the other one means?
Not too, yeah, because it's not too
Let's
crucial.
do it at the end of the chapter, because I have theories throughout the chapter.
About what it means? Okay, sounds good.
They're not good theories, but I have them, so I'd rather we do it at the end.
Okay, yeah, because they never say it, and I don't remember when they say it, so I just kind of want to say it so we can talk about it.
Okay, yeah. Just tell me at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Remind me.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's almost 11, practically a woman grown.
They say this all the time, and it's so funny.
Yeah. So they're talking about how, like, Braavos has, like, all the gods, and there's a sept and all the temples and everything.
So cool. I loved this. I love the idea of Braavos.
I think Braavos is exactly maybe it's not, because I don't like people that much. Like, I can't have houses on top of me, you know? I need my space a little.
True.
But I would love to visit Braavos.
And the one I thought the guy she talks to basically the entire time, because, like, a lot of, like, most of the people don't speak the common tongue, like, enough to, like, converse with her, but the captain and his sons do, and she's been hanging out with his youngest son, Denyo.
Yeah.
Denyo. And he's so cute, because he's so proud of everything, and he's like, you know, 12-year-old gets to give you a tour of his city, basically. And, like, imagine that, you know, it's so cute.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, this weird, like, when you compare him with Arya, because there's also a line later where, or not later, there's a line where she says, like, oh my god, this was heartbreaking. Like, she'd learned more Bravosi words since they left Salt Pans, the words for please and thank you and sea and star and fire wine, but she came to them knowing that all men must die. and that, and then immediately talking to this other 12-year-old, just like the perfect contrasts of like her life and like what she's dealt with as like an 11-year-old. And it's like even the way she's learning this language, like starting off with all men must die is like the most Arya thing in the world, and it's so sad, and this line made me want to cry. Anyway, Stan Denyo, he's cool. I feel like Mott's standing a character after they're like 2 lines of being positive. Shout out Mott's.
He'll appreciate you remembering that. I'm sure Denyo's like on his list of like characters I appreciate, but nobody talks about.
I bet he is.
So, yeah, Arya's wondering if she might find a Godswood in Bravos, which like, that would be nice. She doesn't find quite a Godswood, but she does come across a door made of weirwood, which is
cool.
You know, not the same thing, but an interesting thing. It was
really cool.
I'm just gonna say interesting for anything that I don't have like the exact thesaurus words for.
Please. That's how it be.
Yeah. And she's thinking about how her dad said, when the cold winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And she's like, he had it backwards. I'm the only one who's alive.
That's so sad. And she's like, yeah, old gods are dead. My mom's gods got her murdered. What's the point? I don't need these gods.
Yeah. But also, she doesn't ask anybody about the Godswood around here on the ship because she's pretending to be somebody from the Salt Bands, and she can't be giving that shit away. And like, just constantly having to be on your guard and like be someone else, and just it's exhausting.
It sucks.
Yeah. So we learn about the Moon Singers, which I think are a religious group, are the ones who led the people of Bravos to Bravos so that they could escape Valyria. Do we know about Bravos yet about that, or
I don't think so. Oh,
but if I told you, I don't think it would be much of a spoiler.
Yeah.
But basically, the city was founded by formerly enslaved people that were enslaved by the Valyrians.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know when we learned that, but that's the thing.
Okay.
It's not a big thing. It's just like history, you know. And, he's just, like, naming some gods and all of that. And I think this is where... So, what is your understanding of the many-faced god? I don't want to, like, say explicit things too much, but, like...
I don't know what you mean. He's got many faces?
And he's the one who meets you at the end?
Yeah, like, he's like death god, like, I don't...
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure you
got it. Sorry.
I don't want to call him, the death god and be like...
This is the thing again, where, like, I don't feel the need to say it, and you want to make sure I know it, and then we just get confused and walk around each other. I was like, I don't know what you want me to get. He wears black and white? Like, what do you want me to say? But yes, you can't escape him no matter what path you try to take. He's death. He's Death Genie in a different form.
Okay. Thank you. Just like, this is when we the first time we hear the death god being referred to as the many-faced god, is all I wanted to say.
Because have we heard of it? We haven't heard of this religion before, right? Or like many-faced gods or death god. Other than faceless men, that's the only like face-related god thing we know, right? Well,
that is where Jaqen was from, like, but like the instructions.
But we didn't know, like, the face, like, we didn't have a connection between that and there being many-faced god. Like, this is our first time hearing many-faced god right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, that's
is it okay? I guess you can't tell me this, but like, so are the faceless men disciples, priests, like, or is it
all of the above? I don't know.
Or is it separate? Like, there's different groups who support many-faced god, and one of his, like, little area, like, one of his family trees is...
No, I think it's safe to assume that Arya has, like, found the headquarters of the Faceless Men,
cool.
which is the temple of the many-faced god.
That makes sense. Okay.
I think I can just say that
cool.
and get it over with.
Okay, because technically we don't know, but also probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like, maybe there's other branches, but I think, like, everything indicates that Bravos in here is, like, the headquarters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Hound had... Oh, yeah. Okay, she's like, I'll pray to this god if he grants my wishes, which is, like, all the people she wants dead, and there's only 6 left on her list now.
Oh my god.
Dunsen, Raff the Sweetling, Sir Ilan, Sir Marin, Queen Cersei, and Sir Gregor. Yeah. Joffrey's dead, Polliver's dead, Tickler's dead, and she left the Hound dying, so... Although here she's like, I should have given him the gift of mercy.
Oh, because remember we were debating, like, whether she felt anything for him, so I'm glad that at least... We don't know what she felt in the moment, but at least retroactively she's like, wait, that was not a very good call.
But, like... Yeah, but I don't quite know if she means it, like, actually mercifully, or if she's like, I should have... Yeah, exactly.
You know, I know what you're saying, but I'm choosing to take it the first way.
Okay, sounds good. Well, okay, so they come upon the Titan. They're, like, at the Titan now, and they're, like, riding beneath his legs, and she can see, like, all the arrow slits in his, like, armor, and the murder holes under his skirt, and, like, all this shit that's, like, defensive mechanisms. And it's kind of cool, actually.
It's so cool.
I don't know how logistically it works, but it's cool.
I love it.
At first, she's like, oh, this is just, like, a little bigger than the Baelor statue in King's Landing. And then she gets closer, she's like, never mind.
She's like, he would not even reach his knee. I was wrong.
Yeah.
This was really cool. I liked it. And, like, the little, like... Yeah, like, just, like... Yeah. Oh, wait, we're not there yet. Sorry. Continue.
No, just, like, they pass the Titan, and then they come upon... this place that Denio calls the Arsenal of Bravos, where, like, what they do is build galleys, and they can build a war galley in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's wild.
Yeah, totally.
That's... Man. It's like those Formula 1 people that, like, change the tires real quick, you know, but, like, working on a ship.
So true, yeah.
Okay, then they finally get to, like, the city, and she's like, wait, the city doesn't even have walls. Like, this is so weird. And God. There's, like, 100 islands, and, like, they're connected by bridges and all this stuff, and there's, like, channels or canals running through them.
Yeah.
Like, instead of roads, they have canals.
So cool.
You know? Like, your commute in the morning is getting in a boat and, like, being like, oh my god, too many boats out on the water today.
Sam would cry. Sam would be like, couldn't be me.
Yeah, but it's a real cool place, and George R. R. Martin does a good
It's also so interesting
job.
Because it's like, just like the, like it's so guarded. Like, you know, we have, like the little mountain-looking things, we have the Titan, and it's all scary, and it's gigantic, and we have, like, people in there ready to go, and then we have the arsenal, and then it's, like, as soon as you get past that, it's, like there's not even walls, it's, like, water, like, it just feels like it's, like, complete opposites of, like, trying to get in versus when you're there, like, it's just, I don't know, I just thought it was, like, an interesting,
like, all their defense mechanism is, like, farther from the city itself.
Yeah, like, it's like, yeah, we're gonna make it so hard for you to get in, but once you're in, it's, like, it feels like the most peaceful and, like, nice, I mean, it seems like the most, like, super peaceful and, like, wow, like, we're, like, respecting all the gods, and, like, we're traveling by the waters, like, it just seemed, like, I feel like just sitting there on that boat, you'd just kind of be like, whoa. If you weren't Arya and you weren't like, what the fuck, where am I? Like, it could be nice, like, if you just lived here and you didn't, you know? It's just so nice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to experience this via, like, VR or something. Like, something like this, like, I want someone to make this, and then I can go into the world and, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to experience this without all the bad.
I understand. Yeah, so their ship pulls up to like the main dock there, and the customs people are gonna be looking through the ship for like a whole day. So the captain's like, "Hey, I'll get my son to take you where you need to go in a little boat." And for a second, she's like, "I actually want to stay here," like in her head, but she knows that they don't have room for her. Like, this is not the place for her, so she has to go.
Also,
And
okay, I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it, but when right before the customs stuff happens, they talk about how like when they're at the arsenal or whatever, and like they're getting looked at super quickly, like the galleys that come out to meet them, it says they seem to skim upon the water like dragonflies, their pale oars flashing. But then it says like that the galleys were so close that she could hear the muffled sound of drums from within their purple hulls. So so they're not just like, it's not just the oars, like there's some sort of...
No, they drum a beat so that everybody knows when to like or like row and sink.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was so confused because I was like, I think I just read this wrong, because I was like, okay, so there's oars, but then like immediately they were like, there's like a thumping sound, and I was like, okay, so it's like mechanical, like there's like a...
No,
I was like,
it's just the drum like telling everybody when to row.
Like I was so confused. I was like, what do you mean? Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was like, but then why are there oars? I was just so lost. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, no regular boat mechanics.
Lovely. Great. Okay. I'm okay with that.
You should have done dragon boating in high school.
We didn't have that, or else I probably... Actually, no, I couldn't swim. I wouldn't have. I was like, oh, I probably would have done it.
You would have a life jacket. Nobody drowned.
I know, but...
Ever.
I'd be the first, you guys.
I don't think during like any of our practices or like competitions anybody even tipped over. Like,
oh, then I could have done it.
Yeah, it was pretty safe. I am not sure everybody in our boat could swim either.
Shade. I love it.
Like, me included, you know? Like, I don't know if I can swim upstream in a river. Like,
right.
You know? I can keep myself afloat. I don't know if that... Like, I'm no Olympic swimmer.
Right.
Although we would be out there practicing... Okay, tangent. But, like, people would just be there swimming. Like...
Yeah. Oh my god.
In the river.
Go off, I guess, people.
Yeah.
That's scary, but go off.
We would have to, like, take, like, you know... go around them or like let them know we were coming.
Yeah,
like just all the things.
They'd be like, you're disrupting my morning swim.
Honestly.
Wow. Okay. Go off.
Okay. So the captain says Valardo Hires and says, I beg you remember Ternicio Treus. Wow, that's quite a name. And the service he has done you. And Arya's like, I will. And she gets her stuff and gets on the boat with one of his elder sons, named
Yorko.
Sure.
You're like, I buy it.
Yeah. And so they get in the boat and he starts rowing through the canals. Why do I keep calling them channels? Is it okay if I call them channels instead of canals?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what we're talking about, right? So they're going and she's looking around. And the houses are like really weird looking compared to what she's used to. They've got these really like tipped roofs, which it's like a coastal town. So I guess like storms and rain and stuff. Yeah. And just everything is really close together and they're like leaning on each other. And then there's like houses built over the canals so that like the canals are like tunnely. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a claustrophobic city, but like...
But it's so cool.
Good to visit.
Like it's on the water. So slay.
Yeah. And do we have a map of Bravos?
We don't, sadly. I wish we do.
Because let me find something for you. I don't know if this is a show creation or if this is like actually...
Okay.
But the way Bravos is like, it's like encircled by land, but it's on the sea and it's islands. People... search up a map of Bravos and you'll know what I'm talking about, and I will send one to Harmut so she knows what I'm talking about. But it's a really cool geographic area. I can't find the kind of thing I'm looking for right now, so I'm not going to waste time on it, but
Mhm.
rest assured, you will see it later. Okay, one thing I want to note is that she says they have no trees. It's all stone, a gray city, and a green sea. Okay, this is of significance because I'm going to tell you a theory.
Okay.
Remember how Danny grew up in a house in Bravos with a red door with a lemon tree in the yard?
Mhm.
People be like, how is there a lemon tree in fucking Bravos?
Mhm.
So there's theories that she didn't it wasn't actually Bravos, it was somewhere else, and that she was so young she didn't realize, or like,
Okay.
but yeah.
Wait, what did you say that related to?
The Bravos has no trees. Like,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sure they have some trees, but it's very few trees around, right?
Yes. Okay.
Also, but like, okay, they're building ships all day. Where do they get? I guess they ship the wood to build the ships.
I had that same question too, because I was like, they're literally prepping for war, and they're like, we have all these wooden galleys.
But maybe all the land like surrounding it, there's trees.
I think there is.
Oh, I think like the ridges, like
they have like
the ridge,
like different types of
trees,
trees and like sentinels and stuff. So
okay,
I feel like
so
maybe that, but also like when we saw that, it didn't look like deprived of trees. So maybe they just use it a sustainable amount. But still, I just feel like if that's what they were, because the thing is, not Danny. Oh my god, this is starting to feel like a Danny chapter, isn't it? But like Arya keeps talking about how many galleys there are, like it's innumerable. Like, oh my god, you know?
Yes.
But so if they're using it that much, you'd think that there would be some sign of. So maybe they are getting it imported, because you'd think that they'd be using it enough to have some. Maybe
they're like, bring us the wood and we'll get you the ship.
Yeah.
We specialize in the building, not the tree making.
Literally, yeah.
Tree growing, I guess, whatever. There's 3D printing some trees.
Please.
No. But yeah, like maybe there are like maybe the rich houses have a little yard and can have a tree, but like I think one of the arguments is like Bravos isn't the climate for lemon trees. Maybe George R. R. Martin doesn't know that. Maybe it is a whole conspiracy and Dany was actually living somewhere else her whole childhood and nobody ever told her.
Whoa.
You know?
Okay, so Dany grew up in Bravos. Brain forgot that.
Red door, house with a red door. Maybe Arya will come across a house with a red door.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just put that out there as a thing, you know? Okay. They've got aqueducts, which...
Whoa.
Real ancient Rome of them.
Whoa.
But like I was like in grade 7 when we were learning about like ancient Rome and all this like ancient civilizations, and like the thing I was impressed with most with Rome were the aqueducts.
Oh, slay.
Seriously. So this is like oh my god, they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got fountains and stuff, so it's real cool. They're talking about how there's so many gods and there's like statues of sea lords like lining the canals and all this stuff and all the temples and just everything. Yeah. Finally, they get to the temple that she is seeking, and it's just like a windowless temple of dark gray stone. And yeah, she says bye to him, basically, you know, Alardo Hyrus, blah blah blah. And he leaves her there. She goes up the steps, taking 2 at a time, so no one could ever say she had been afraid because she hesitated for a second before.
Oh, girl, please.
Yeah. And she comes across a set of carved wooden doors. The left-hand door was made of weirwood, pale as bone, the right of gleaming ebony. In the center was a carved moon face, ebony on the weirwood side, weirwood on the ebony side. And it reminds her of Winterfell. And she feels like that the doors are watching her. Which, yeah, Catelyn always felt like the weirwoods were watching her, so maybe they are watching her. But it's kind of like a little piece of home away from home.
Yeah,
you know?
This is interesting. So we know weirwoods... So we know that weirwoods, like, used to be and, like, could grow anywhere, but they were cut down everywhere else, right?
I think there's all, like, within Westeros. I think they're also native to Westeros.
Okay, but within Westeros, they could have grown anywhere. It wasn't just like, oh, yes, they needed northern climate or something.
Yeah, I think they were everywhere. Maybe not in Dorne, because, like, Dorne can't support many trees at all. Like, it's a desert, but, like, other places, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little mini, like, a bonsai tree, but, like, weirwood in Dorne.
Okay, okay. So I guess I'm just, like, where's the weirwood coming from here? Do you know what I mean? I guess I'm just wondering, like...
I mean... Bravos is quite a metropolitan, globalized city.
True, know? But I guess I'm just like, is there a reason for this connection to the north? And I'm just thinking about like if there's a reason for the similarities. Okay,
so like like the northern people, like believe in like magical powers of like. Weirwoods.
Yeah.
So maybe they're drawing on that. Like they're like, this is magic wood, let's put that there.
Right. And like,
or like this is a representation of the northern gods in the temple of the many-faced god, you know?
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think so. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So she like pushes at the door, it doesn't open, and she's like, look, I have this coin, see, Valar Morghulis, and then it opens.
Oh my god.
So it's like the magic kind of opens. Like nobody opened it and then nobody closes it, but it closes right after her. And she gets in and it's real dark. There's a few candles burning, but people are whispering and like quite the atmosphere. And the temple seems much larger within than it had without. And at this point, I don't know whether that's just like it seems that way or if it's like real magic, like in Mary Poppins bag kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
She's like looking around and there's like a bunch of god statues at least, you know, and one of them is like of a huge bronze horse, huge horse of bronze and iron veered up on two great legs. That's like the Dothraki horse god representation.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
That's cool.
Remember, like in Vice Dothrak, they have these two horses rearing up against each other.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And there's alcoves between the god statues, and she smells the candles, and at first it's like unfamiliar, but as she like gets used to it, it like becomes smell of snow and pine and hot stew, all like the good smells. This is like that time Dany like drank that potion and she was like, oh, this is all the good yummy stuff. But like the candle, or like in Harry Potter, what is like the love potion smells like the person you love or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, I mean, it makes sense, like the many faces, many things, like it can just kind of interpret whatever you are and then tailor according to it.
Yeah. And if people come to die here, as many seem to be, it would be nice to have some comforting smells around. It is like our strongest sensory experience.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, she finds this like pool of like it's black as ink, lit by dim red candles. I don't think the water is black, but like it looks black.
Yeah.
And there's this guy like trying to like drink from it, but there's a cup right beside him. He's not really drinking from it, but Arya's like, oh, he must be thirsty. Let me help him out. She fills it up and gives it to him, and he just like stares at her for a second.
Yeah.
And then finally says, Valar Morghulis, and she replies, Valar Dohaeris, and he drinks it up, gets up, turns out he's been stabbed or something.
He's been dying.
Yeah, and then he just goes in an alcove and lies down. And she's like, oh, there's a lot of people lying down. They must be sleepy. And then she's like, no, they were dead or dying.
Oh my god.
So she were like, yeah. No, a half-remembered voice seemed to whisper in her head, they are dead or dying. Look with your eyes, which is, you know, serious voice.
Yeah.
Then somebody, like, touches her, and it's this little, pale little girl, who is talking to her, but, like, doesn't speak the same language. Arya doesn't know what to say. And she's like, do you speak the common tongue? And then finally somebody behind her is like, I speak the common tongue. And it's this hooded person. And he's got a gentle voice, and he's like, this is a place of peace, and you're safe here. But, like, you're too young to be seeking the fear of the many-faced god.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, he's just like, this is where he goes into the end of every road stands him of many faces, waiting. He will be there for you one day. Do not fear. You need not rush to his embrace. And she's like, whatever. I'm here to find Jaqen Hagar. And he's like, I don't know who that is. And she's trying to, like, remember details about him. And the guy's like, I don't know. And she shows him the coin. And he says, okay, tell me your name. So she starts with Salty. And she's like, I can't see him, but I can tell he's smiling. He's like, no, tell me your name. Squab, no. Your name. Nan, no. Weasel, no. Airy. And then he's like, oh, that's closer. Like, he knows somehow. He's like a lie detector or something. Yeah. And then finally she says, Arya. She whispered the word the first time. The second time, she threw it at him. I am Arya of House Stark.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you are Arya, but this is no place for Arya of House Stark. She's like, I have nowhere to go. He's like, are you afraid of death? She says, no. And then he's like, let's see. Let's test it. So this guy lowers his hood. Beneath he had no face, only a yellowed skull with a few scraps of skin clinging to the cheeks and a white worm wriggling from an empty eye socket. Kiss me, child, he croaked in a voice as dry and husky as a death rattle.
Disgusting.
And Arya's like, yeah, I'll kiss you.
Does
and then
he
she
think
like
to
goes
scare
to pluck
me?
the
Arya,
yeah.
Girl, yes!
You should be scared.
I'm concerned that you're not, but okay.
Like, what kind of 10-year-old looks at this and is like, whatever, let me eat that worm real quick?
Yeah, what kind of 11-year-old is like, you think this is gonna do the trick?
I guess the one whose entire family has been murdered,
so
but like...
The one who's so used to death that, like, a little child in this place taps her on the shoulder and she's like, I'll kill you like I killed them. Like, she is pretty, like, I don't want to say far gone, but far gone down a route for sure. Like,
yeah. So she grabs the worm to eat it. It just says, plucked the gray worm from his eye to eat it. Like, never explains why she's inclined to eat it. But it melts like a shadow in her hand. The yellow skull was melting too, and the kindliest old man she had ever seen was smiling down at her. No one's ever tried to eat my worm before, he said. Are you hungry, child? Yes, she thought, but not for food.
Oh my god.
Revenge.
Why is everyone in the Stark family either dead or turning into like a undead or
who
like
else is turning into undead?
Catelyn?
Oh, okay, yes. Forgot about her, sorry.
And now, like, Arya's whole, like, now Arya's gonna be a death genie, like, come on.
But maybe it takes a death genie to death the undead, you know?
I don't know, maybe. I don't like this. This is so...
What? You don't want to see her journey into becoming a, well, death genie, but like, you know...
I know, but I just, like, come on. Like, she's 11.
I know. I'm just teasing you. I agree with you.
At least with Catelyn being undead, it's like, okay, well, she's, like, you know, she's lived kind of a life, you know?
I gotta say, Arya's story never fails to be interesting. Like, never once have I been like, oh, it's an Arya chapter. Like... Yeah. Like,
so
it's concerning, 100%. Sad most of the time. But, like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's some interesting, fun shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So true. Oh my god. Oh,
so,
yeah.
Is she gonna be accepted into this cult?
Well, yeah. No one's ever dared to eat the worm before.
What name's she gonna get this time? They can't just go around, oh, Arya Stark, come fetch the dead people. I don't know, like...
I don't know. Maybe, like... Needle Hagar. I don't know. I'm just gonna find Jaqen Hagar. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel
just some kind of name.
I do think, like, I don't know, maybe she'll get to choose it or something. You know? But it's interesting that he was like, Jaqen Hagar, I don't know that name.
Well,
like, I get that that's not his real name, but still, like, I don't know, I just, like, I guess he's just being all like, oh, that's not his real name, but he just, like...
But maybe he really doesn't know. Like, who knows at what point that particular person took on the persona of Jaqen Hagar? Like, who knows, like, if this person has met that person since then, you know?
Right, true, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. This is so concerning, but, like, not what I saw happening at all.
You're like, she's gonna catch up with... But, like, you wanted her to catch up with Jaqen Hagar. What did you think he was gonna do?
I know, but I just wasn't... I don't know. I think, okay, because I do remember predicting, and I did still believe this up until reading this chapter. I do remember predicting, like, that they, like, she would help him in, like, killing people, or, like, she would be part of the Faceless, like, journey, but I think I just didn't expect, I don't know why, once again, I got 80% there, just didn't get the extra 20, like, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna, like, kill people together, but I wasn't like, oh, she's going to become a Faceless man, or, like, you know?
Yeah.
Which also, okay, it's called Faceless Men, so is Arya just, like, super special, or, like, can girls also...
I
like,
don't know.
You know,
maybe,
I don't know.
yeah,
like,
maybe it's just one of those outdated terms, but, like...
Yeah, but I guess, but you'd think that they wouldn't call it that then. Like, I don't know.
I guess faceless human.
But also, like...
doesn't sound as, like, it doesn't flow as well.
I know, but also, like, all these religions do be like, how could a girl do it? You know, so...
true. It could be that.
I don't know, so...
Jaqen didn't seem
Very
to, like,
confused.
think that would be a problem, you know?
Yeah,
and also, like, if you
can
can change faces, like, can't you change, like, gender, sexes, like, everything? Like...
Right. That's true. You know? So I guess...
Maybe it's just George R. R. Martin being like, oh, men, that's all people, right?
Yeah. And I guess in the context of the story, it's just like, well, why not be a man? Why would I...
Yeah.
You know? But it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess we don't really know.
Interesting.
This little girl is there. She doesn't seem to be among the dead and dying. Like, what's her role? Or is it like she dressed like it's a person that became like a little girl so that Arya would feel like kinship or something? I don't know.
Yeah, but then they didn't know how Arya would. They didn't know that Arya doesn't trust him. It's possible, because he literally says, like, you're too young to be here. So if there's also this other little girl here, then clearly it's got to be, like, a part of the, not trap, but a part of, like, the ambiance, I guess, like a part, like, it's got to be
just
intentional,
the creepy little child,
you know?
in the corner that you got to have in your death temple.
Exactly, of course, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so do I have questions? Like, is she gonna be a part of this? Like, is she gonna be successfully a part of this? Is she gonna get her? I don't know. There's, like, no specific questions here.
But that's the thing, it's hard to predict that, because this is so out of left field, and we don't even know how the organizational
You thought she was going to
works.
the Iron Islands? Like, what is happening here?
No, but then I thought that she was going to Bravos.
Through Old Town, which is also on the other side of the continent.
Shut up, it's fine.
Seen a map ever?
Excuse you, okay? Yeah, I don't even know what to predict. I just think she's gonna kill some people, and, I mean, Cersei's on her list, so that could be interesting if she succeeds in kill. Because the thing is, you know, like, you can hire faceless men, so I wonder, since it's like you become a faceless man, is it like you're supposed to lose your own identity and your own motives, and, like, submit yourself to, like, the Lord and, like, the work, you know?
Could Arya do that?
Or if it's... I don't think she would, even if she was supposed to, because I think the whole thing making her, quote-unquote, qualified for the job is her hatred for all these people. So I think at the end of the day, like, it'll just be her using this as a way to get them. Like, I don't see her becoming a death genie to be a death genie.
Yeah, she's in it for her personal plans, yeah.
I mean, if this was like a positive ending book where all things go happy, jolly, jolly, what I would say is, like, maybe, like, you know, she sees how this all works, and then she's like, okay, maybe I don't want to become a people-killing child.
She gets
and,
her
like,
eyes
maybe,
opened.
Yeah, but that's probably not where this book is going. Yeah, maybe it becomes one of the things where, like, she's ordered to kill someone, like this is, like, very out of left field, but, like, if she's ordered to, like, kill Sansa or something, and now she has to decide whether, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or, like, John, or, like, you know, like, any of these things could happen, so I'm just worried about who she could have to kill or be assigned, because, you know, with this cultish behavior, it definitely feels very, like, driven by, like, the, like, job over, like, I was watching Divergent a few weeks ago. It's, like, faction over blood, but it's, like, religion over blood.
Sure.
So I don't know, I think I'm just really worried. I don't like this. I like her being in Bravos, but I was hoping for more of, like, the, like, you know, going through little canals, going to people's houses, maybe becoming, like, a mailman or something. Like, you know, like, you know, something cute. Like, I wasn't hoping for her
little
to become
Arya
a
Dakia
Death Genie.
Dakalaya.
Yeah, like a cute little, you know? Because also, like, it reminded me of that scene from Avatar where they're, like, traveling through, like, the slides in the town and they're just, like, going everywhere. Like, you know, like, it could have been so nice, and it isn't, and it's really sad. Okay, some clarifying details. Okay, so everyone's giving her gifts so they don't kill her, or she doesn't kill them,
I guess.
right? And stuff. And, like, okay, cool. So the cult doesn't kill them. It's for the overall,
Well,
like,
I don't
hey,
know
we did
how
you
she's
good.
gonna, like, if they're gonna go for it. I don't know how she's gonna stop them. Like, oh, I was on a ship boat with that person once. Like, maybe it's just,
Yeah, I
like,
don't know.
guarantee against, like, if she does become a Death Genie, then she herself won't kill them. So they're
Right,
one
I
less of the Death
guess.
Genies. I don't know actually the logistics, but
I guess it's also just, like, this is a scary person, I should respect
exactly.
them, and, like...
Yeah. It's not gonna hurt. Like, you can have this, like, hat, like, I can do without it, and if it gets me a couple extra years of living, then maybe it's worth it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then also... I had a momentary... Okay, this is definitely not true, but for a moment I was like, what if this is Jaqen and he's just testing her and he's actually the
That's some
leader
real
of the
fast
Faceless
traveling.
Men, but he was out on a super important mission, but, like, I'm sure it's not, but just putting it out there.
He's the only one who's actually a faceless man, but he just, like,
Exactly.
super fast, like, changes into the other persona and, like, runs over to the other side of the room and then runs back over, and it's just...
Basically, yeah.
You were gonna tell me what you thought Valar Dohaeris meant, and you never did.
Okay, yes. Okay, I don't know exactly what it means, but here are some of the ideas that I had. The main one that I'm sticking with is, like, because Valar Morghulis is all men must die. Yeah. I was thinking, like, if it was, like, death is all man's destiny, or, like, because it also starts, I just kept relating it to the word destiny, because it also starts with a D.
Okay.
And it just made sense that it was, like, because, you know, all the roads lead back to the many-faced gods, like, it's, like, maybe it's, like, all men must die, like, death is destined, or, like, I was just thinking something along those lines, or, like, and then that's, like, my current theory, but when she was first getting the gifts, and I didn't quite know what was going on, I was like, why are they giving her gifts, like, before we kind of got here, and I was like, oh, I was thinking maybe it's more, like, because, like, sometimes when she'd get like, he was like, do you know my name? Like, the son who dropped her off at the temple, he was like, do you know my name? And she was like, yeah, this is your name. And then they did the Valar Morghulis, Valar Dohaeris. I was like, okay, maybe it's, like, all men must die, like, be thankful to death or something. Like, I was thinking along that line, because it was, like, gifts and, like, gratitude, whatever. But I think what I've landed on is, like, destiny, like, all roads lead to death style something.
Wrong.
Okay, obviously.
It means all men must serve. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit unclear as to whether this is just a greeting that all Braavosi use, or only when interacting with people from the, you know, House of Black and White. I am unclear about that. But if somebody wants to clarify it for me, I would be grateful. Because the reason I think that is like, why did Danny hear it at one point? Like, why did it come up way over
I
in
don't remember.
Old whatever? Like, somebody said it to her, but I don't remember if it was as like a greeting or a goodbye, or if it's just like it's in Valerian or something, you know?
Okay, all men must serve. So, like, serve, like, the dude, the many-faced gods, or, like, or God? I don't know why I keep saying gods. There's only one.
Yeah, maybe.
So I guess... Okay, so I guess, like, submitting yourself to the house is serving? So all men must serve? Or is it, like,
hey, maybe, like, that's why the guy felt compelled to take Arya to Braavos.
Yeah,
because
that's
like
his. You gotta serve.
She's like
all
she
men
said the
must
magic
serve
word. All men must die unless they serve. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, it could be like all men must die.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a huge like Reddit essay on this.
Yeah. Or is it like you must serve like the mission of like which is like death, basically? Because also, could this be the god of darkness that like Melisandre is going against too, you know?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Say that
You know
again.
how Melisandre is like R'hllor's fighting darkness and death and like, the god of death. So could this be like the direct opposition to like R'hllor and stuff?
They seem to exist pretty like
right, because R'hllor's thing is right there, so maybe not.
I don't think of Melisandre as like against death itself, but like the other and darkness. Not necessarily death, but the undead probably.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Slight difference, like everybody's gonna die. It's like just a fact of life. The only fact of life, really.
Yeah, okay. But I guess here if they're like killing people just left and right, like just because...
Well, we don't know how they decide who to kill, like what's the criteria, like...
Right, because right now all we know is, like, you can be hired.
Yeah, like maybe their god whispers in their ear, kill this guy, he's real bad.
Yeah, or maybe there's some sort of criteria, like if Littlefinger's trying to hire a faceless man, like, there needs to be a legit reason to try and kill them or something, because that's what I'm thinking of, is like, if this is religious, why are we taking bribes from people who have nothing to do with your religion?
Yeah, maybe it's like, here's some money, why don't you go check with your god to see if he'll okay this, and then...
Right, like, if he's worthy, like, oh yeah, he did this to me, he's worthy of being killed, and then you take and then that's like the application, and you as a like,
supplicant, applicant, yeah.
No, not as an applicant, as a
faceless person.
Yes, thank you. As like a faceless person, you take the application, you get it approved or denied. Like, you know, like how does it? I don't know. So, but Littlefinger did specifically say they were very expensive. So I do think money does come into it, but it's like, why do you need money if it's a religious, like, fated destiny thing, you know?
Maybe each face costs money, I don't know.
Like, if all men must serve. Okay, and then also, so I guess what I'm thinking, like, I feel like this, like, holy place, I feel like the people who are, like, coming here to die and, like, stuff, I feel like they're using, like, their spirits and, like, their life to, like, power their powers.
I don't know. I don't think we like know anything to
that
degree.
Well, I'm theorizing.
Sure.
I'm theorizing.
Yeah.
Because why else? So they're like, wow, we're gonna kill these people, but also here's a refuge if you're dying. And also, so how are these people, like the guy who got stabbed, like, let's say I'm in King's Landing and I die. Like, it's not like I have time to make it to Braavos. So is it only people in Braavos who die? Like, I don't know. I just have so many questions. Like, is it like if I'm in Braavos and, naturally die, you know, something happens, I can go to the temple, like it's like refuge in that way, but I don't know.
But if you find out like you have cancer or something and you want to die in a place that smells like childhood, then maybe you do make the trip from King's Landing to Braavos, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, it's like interesting to think of, like, I think if there wasn't the whole, like, death genie component, I think this could be cool. Like, you know,
yeah,
like,
if it was just people coming
for
there for comfort and death, yeah.
Because also, now that I'm thinking about it, like, So now the whole Jaqen thing does seem more plausible of, like, he did really owe Arya,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Or maybe it was just recruiting. It was, like, an easy way to recruit someone who, because, he knew, like, I'll kill these people for you. Maybe that's a test to see if she would be a good death genie. Is, like, if she wanted all these people to die. Oh my god, I have so many thoughts. Anyway, yeah, I think those are all my random disjointed thoughts.
Well, glad you're having thoughts at this late hour. One of us should. What else? I don't think there's anything to predict. We talked everything to death, I feel like.
Okay, I have
get
like
it to
a
death.
thing.
You didn't get it.
I did. Okay,
oh my god,
fine.
that was such a pity laugh. I'm so sad.
Okay, be sad. I'm joking. Love you. Okay, wait a second. I'm trying to note these down, okay?
On this day of my birth, it's not my birthday. I just like, that's just a dramatic thing to say, and I wanted to say it.
Okay, shush. Maybe the 3 Jaqen killed for Arya were a test to see if she'd be a good death genie. Death genie. I have some thoughts. The Temple of the Moonsingers looks really cool. And
I don't remember it.
It's like the silver Snow White. It's the one that's basically all like snow and white and like nice. And, like, you could put a hand on it and wreck the color. Like,
okay,
that one. It was really pretty. Okay, I loved the idea of the Warren where, like, all the small gods that, like, everyone's forgotten about.
Oh yeah,
and, like, go pray to them. That was really sweet. I was like, oh. See, the first half of this chapter was so cute. It was so adorable. It was so nice. And I should have known that it couldn't coexist with this book. Like, as it was. And, yeah, really sad. Okay, I guess the only other thing was, because I'm looking at her list of people that she wanted dead. And it was Gregor, who we know is probably about to die, so that's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dunsen, Raph the Sweetling, Sir Ilyn, Sir Meryn, and Queen Cersei. So, Ilyn Payne. Meryn, was he...
He's the one who killed Syrio.
Okay, yes. Where is he now? Is he the one who went with Marcella? Or am I confused?
No. He's in King's Landing.
Okay, got it. I don't know if I should predict a Cersei death, because the Lannisters have had a lot of people die this year. Like, I don't know if...
You tell me.
So, okay, I don't think I think eventually...
She thinks she's, like, in mortal danger constantly.
True. I think eventually Arya could, like, kill Cersei or something, but I don't think that would happen...
Tyrion's not gonna kill her?
For now. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they could team up, who knows. But I think for now, probably not, just because, like, I feel like it'll be like Arya has to serve the mission or whatever, and not, like, her own wishes.
There's probably steps to training or becoming or whatever, you know? It's
Yeah.
not like, here's your membership card, enjoy. Like...
Yeah. Wow. Arya's also becoming a scholar in a different way. I don't like this.
It's like training to be a spy and, well, assassin, yeah. Like, literally. Like, usually that kind of stuff involves a lot of adjacent training. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I think those were all my thoughts.
All right, so let's move on to next chapters. We are reading 2 next time. Give me your hopes and predictions.
I'm hoping for... Why am I so confused? Tyrion. I want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the thing is, now I want to see everyone again, because everyone's chapters are good right now. That's why I'm so confused. Okay, so Tyrion and Dany. Let's say that.
Okay. Well, you're not going to be disappointed, but it's not those.
Okay.
Chapters 7 and 8. Chapter 7 is Cersei.
Oh my god, we just saw her! What was going on? She was dealing with Tywin being dead. Was there a thing she was gonna do? I don't remember.
Just investigate.
Right, okay. Maybe she finds out Jaime's secret.
Be in rule, just that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe, she'll get disrespected some more. She'll find out Jaime's secret. Maybe we'll get some more news, like, maybe we'll find out, like, oh, these people are trying to rise against you, or, like, Stannis did this, like, we'll see her reactions. I want to have a bigger prediction, but I just don't know what to think of, because a bomb has just been dropped at King's Landing. Like, if we have another one this soon, like, I don't know what to say about the survival of that city, y'all. Like, so I guess for now, I'm just gonna predict that she'll be hearing about things.
Okay. Well, this might help or not at all, but chapter 8 is Jaime.
Okay, prediction. Epic breakup. Epic breakup.
Initiated by whom?
Cersei.
Okay.
Making mortal enemies of each other, but they have to work together, and, like, no one's supporting either of them anyway, so they're just isolating themselves further. Yeah, so something's about to go down. If back to back we have King's Landing, Cersei, and Jaime, okay, maybe, like, I don't know, someone's jumping on the opportunity, like, attack. No one can attack this quickly. Maybe just, like, people are rioting, they find out about Tywin, like, maybe they're trying to, like, maybe they have to blame someone now to take the fall, so that it doesn't look like their brother made them look weak. Like, maybe but now what do? Because he was supposed to get publicly executed this day. So it's not like they can hide that he's yeah, they can't really hide that he's gone. So maybe they can be like, oh, it's fine, we found, I don't know, maybe they're looking for Varys. Maybe Varys is doing something. Maybe Tyrion, maybe Tyrion and Varys were, like, on the way to somewhere else, but they came back, and they're gonna strike while the iron's hot, because they know
just
that everyone's unprepared. Yeah, exactly. Maybe Varys gets his people, like, I don't know, something big is gonna happen, and there's gonna be a breakup, and maybe Cersei's definitely gonna find out. Cersei's gonna find out. She's gonna, like, see Jaime crying, and she's gonna be like, why the fuck are you crying? We need to deal with this. And he's gonna be like, shut up, and she's gonna guess it, and then he's gonna be like, she always did know me too well, and then they're gonna, like, fight and break up.
Okay.
That was a lot of thoughts. Anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts. Have fun, people. Have fun dissecting those. I feel like I spoke a lot today, but, like, none of it made sense.
Oh, I disagree, I guess. I'm just joking. No, it made sense. I just am tired.
So let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple emails, but we will read them next time. We've got a bit of a deadline today. So just, like, follow us on all the places. Follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium. Join the Discord and send us an email it's popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And everything's in the show notes, as always. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.